Hello, everyone. How are you? For those of you new to my Midlife Mojo page, I am Jill Lebofsky, the owner of Midlife Mojo, health coach, Pilates instructor, essential oils educator. I don't know, a Jill of all trades, basically, is what I am. And I'm also a mom to a wife of 22 years, a mom to a 19-year-old college student who's home from his freshman year unexpectedly and not very happy, and a 15-year-old daughter also not very happy with her current situation at the moment. Let me tell you, this mom not feeling all the love right now, that's for sure. But how are all of you guys doing? It feels so good to be talking to people other than my family. How are you all? Here, let me take this. Let's do something here real quick. Let me hide this so I can, there we go. There we go. Now the big screen. So I hope that if you are watching this, that you saw my note earlier, and I think it's in the comments there. If I'm on this new platform called Be Live, and for me to be able to see who is commenting, I need for you to just go to that link and just let Facebook access your profile. That way, otherwise I just see Facebook user and I don't know who it is, and I like to know who I'm talking to. So please definitely do that. But really, I am wondering, how are you guys all doing? I mean, all joking aside, I mean, a lot of fear going on right now, for sure. A lot of discontentment, right? A lot of unease definitely happening, but I do hope that you're not going too stir crazy. Maybe you're finding ways to, I see people get into some of the household projects they were doing, the crafting projects they've been wanting to do. That's the best things to do. If, you got nothing else to do, so why not hit those things and feel accomplished during this time rather than glued to the television, wide-eyed and frightened. So, for me, I'm not gonna, I'm going to admit there's definitely some stress going on. I've got a couple of styes in my eye. I've never had those, and I read about them, and they're sometimes due to stress. And, there has been some panic food buying. Me, of all people, I got Fruit Loops and goldfish in my cabinets right now. God forbid we have no food, right? At least there'll be Fruit Loops to last forever. But I'm totally out of my routine. I was totally getting into my exercise routine. I was doing so well, 6 weeks, 4 to 5 times a week. And that's kind of been shot, to hell as well. Although I am starting to get back into that routine. So, I do get it, the struggle that we're all going through. My husband was stopped yesterday by our neighbor, who's a young guy, and he says, "Man, I don't know how you work from home." He goes, "I'm going crazy. I've drank all the booze and nothing's getting done." So I do realize everybody, handles stress differently. But hopefully today's topic will be a nice little break in your day, a little few minutes just to, you know, uh, get out of that crazy mindset, that scared mindset, and maybe focus on something a little positive for yourself. Every Monday, I do go live here in the Midlife Mojo group at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think this is my third or fourth week doing it, and I'm really enjoying doing it a lot. Sometimes I just do some straight talk like today. Sometimes I'll do a demo like I did last week, or a DIY project, or bring on a guest speaker with me. Really, I don't know. We'll just kind of whatever the topic I feel I want to talk about that week and how I want to do it, I'm going to do. And I would love to get some input from you on how you're enjoying them, how I can improve on them, and maybe some topics that you want to see or some projects that you'd like me to make that you're interested in, something that could benefit all of us, in the 40 and up crowd. Let me see. Okay. Oh, yes. One last piece of business. So at the end of all of my lives, I want you guys to try and stick around to the end, because I do at the end either do some kind of special offer, or I do a raffle, or I tell you about an upcoming event, something. So make sure you stick around to the end to see that. And if you didn't see my intro video, go back and watch it on replay. I did an exit video as well. Very proud of myself when I do these techie things and make it all work. So, I need to know people are seeing them. But anyways, hey, Tammy, you said you were going to be on. Thank you. Thank you. YouTube workouts have been a welcome alternative. My sister, she does a lot, said the exact same thing to me the other day. She literally said the exact same thing to me today. Just turn on YouTube and do that. So that is what I think I'm going to start doing. Definitely. So thank you. All right. So let's kind of get into topic a little bit today. I know that being, home for somewhat of the unforeseeable future has got, most of us on edge, anxious, and some people turn to the fridge, whether it's conscious or unconscious during these times of stress. Some of us are lonely. Maybe we live alone, and our interaction was when we went to work, when we went out in the public, when we went to the store and things like that. And now we're kind of alone and, kind of maybe feeling a little depressed, maybe even, or sad. And so, I can see why munching would start to happen. There's not really much else to do, right? Sit around in front of the TV. And then others just, can't take the boredom anymore. And so eating is just something to do, right? Like something to do. That's why they do it. So just know that you're not alone. Millions and millions of people around the world right now are, feeling the same way. They're seeing their weight loss journeys derailed. They're seeing their exercise efforts go out the window. Not Tammy, but some people. So, just I'm hoping today will maybe kind of open up your eyes and just maybe give you something else to think about, that you can do something positive for yourself during this time of, whether it's social distancing, self-quarantine, whatever, measures that you're taking, but this time of, not being able to be around others, what you can do to continue that weight loss journey, maybe start a weight loss journey, and just whatever it is, making an effort makes you feel good. Okay, whether you're successful or not isn't really the point. It's starting something. It's making a commitment. That in itself is very empowering. And so that, kind of leads me a little bit into I said today's topic is the 3 reasons why intermittent fasting, adopting the intermittent fasting lifestyle during self-quarantine is a great time to do this. And that kind of just like leads me a little bit into my first reason, and that is control. Right now, we don't have a lot of control. All right. Hi, I see somebody else came on. I don't see who you are because you didn't go to that link at the top of this right here to give Facebook your access. But if you would do that, that would be great. And then I'd see who you are. Otherwise, I'll say hi, who you are, when I get off and I go back and watch on the replay. All right. So, but yes, I said, so the number one reason is control, something for us to have control about. Like right now we're being told what to do, where to do it, where we can and cannot go, all these directions kind of at it. And it's feeling like we don't really have a lot of things we can be in control about. And adhering to the 16-8 fast, which I teach, the intermittent fasting, which is 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of feasting time, gives you control. You get to pick those 16 hours. You get to choose to eat or not to eat. You get to choose what to eat and what not to eat. You get to change up those 16 hours. So if maybe one morning, because you're home and, for the next couple of weeks, and you're up early and you want to, eat a little earlier, you eat a little earlier and you end your you end your feasting time a little bit earlier. Or conversely, you're sleeping in a little bit later. Maybe you don't open your window until a little bit later, and then you eat a little bit later into the night because you're up later. So that's all, to me. I've always called it freedom, but it's freedom, but it's also control, right? That's why I personally love intermittent fasting in general, is I have complete say of what's going on. There's no intermittent, I always say there's no intermittent fasting police out there knocking on my door. I have control of what I can do and what I choose to do at all times to be successful. In fact, this sense of being in control is one of the main reasons that most of my Melt the Midlife Middle Inner Circle members give for why they continue with intermittent fasting, even long after they've hit their goal. And if you're not familiar with what the Melt the Midlife Middle Inner Circle program is, that is my online intermittent fasting paid support group. And I'm going to, at the end, tell you a little bit about that. But, one of the members, she's been doing it for over a year. And just in December, after the holidays, that was exactly what she wrote. She wrote, I love IF so much. It's just given me so much control. The only thing is, I wish I had discovered it 30 years earlier. And she's just one of many, including myself, who wish we discovered it a long time ago. So just tell me if you're watching live or on the replay, does being in control of the food instead of the food controlling you, or even worse, just like the mindless munching, there's like, not even thinking about it, unconscious eating, does being in control sound appealing to you? Yeah? Give me a you bet in the comments if it does, or maybe some hearts, things like that. That would make me feel happy. Let me know that you're out there. So when you adopt an intermittent fasting lifestyle, let me just tell you what it looks like. So 16 hours of the day, you are going to be fasting. And so what that looks like is you're not going to be eating anything. I teach a clean fast, which means that you can have black coffee, unsweetened tea, plain water, water with lemon or lime juice, or or water with essential oils. And essential oils, you can see my essential oils. I'm a big Young Living essential oils believer and educator. And so I have incorporated that into my program as well. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Tammy. Yay. I feel like we're like, connecting a little bit other than just all this isolation. All right. So that's what, it's going to kind of look like during that 16 hours. Those are the things that you're allowed to eat. But other than that, you're just going to go about your day. All right. And then for 8 hours, when that window opens, it's called your eating window, and you can eat whatever you want. All right. You can truly eat whatever you want. That's where the control comes in. You have the choice. Now, in my program, of course, I don't teach, a free-for-all of junky eating. But, right now, a lot of us are doing a little bit of stress eating. So if you're going to do your stress eating and make some choices that aren't the best for you health-wise or weight-wise, at least do them during that 8-hour window. All right. You are more likely to not gain any weight during this self-quarantine time, or at least maintain where you are. Or maybe even lose a little bit of weight just by shifting when you're eating those foods. So again, I always say, we're not eating junky foods 24/7. I mean, nobody ever lost weight that way. Nobody ever got healthy that way. But with intermittent fasting, you can feel comfortable if you are making some choices that are a little bit junkier and you're eating them during their window, that they're not going to derail your efforts the way it would if you were on doing some other diet program and eating just 6 meals a day and 6 times a day eating junk food and so forth. So can you have indulgences? Yes. Should you have them all the time? No. Do indulgences include alcohol? People want to know. Yes. Although I will say that as our neighbor has said, he's drank all the booze, alcohol, and for reasons, if you read my book or go into my program, you'll learn about alcohol definitely does to some degree impede how quickly you lose the weight. So there is a little bit of a trick to that. So does that sound freeing to you guys? I mean, to know that you can choose to eat healthy most of the time during these next few weeks. And if you continue to do intermittent fasting even longer, that you can choose to eat healthy, but you can also choose to not eat healthy consciously during that eating window. Does that sound freeing to you? I'm curious. I'm going to assume, most of us in this group are 40, 45, 50, 60, 70 and up. Most of us have probably been on 20, 30 diets over a lifetime. We've tried losing weight many different ways. What are some of the diets that you've tried in the past? I'm just curious what everyone's done. I was a big Weight Watchers girl. I was a Weight Watchers leader and so forth. But what are some diets that you've done? And what were the reasons why you didn't stick with it? I'm going to think about that and write that for a minute while I just take a quick little drink here. All right. All right. So one more thing about control and why it's a good time to start Young Living is because you're at home. And one of the reasons, excuses, whatever you want to call it, that people give for saying, oh, they can't, do the intermittent fasting right now, or they can't stick with it, is because of their work schedule. Maybe they go in really early, or they work really late, or they don't really get a lunch break, that kind of stuff. And so you don't have, hope most of us don't have that excuse anymore. So right now you have complete control of your eating schedule, pretty much, right? You can literally choose when to eat and whatnot because you're not going anywhere. So now is a really good time to start getting into a routine. Okay. Why not take these next couple of weeks to start developing that 16-8 rhythm, figuring out what works for you, how you do it, and so forth. And consider my inner circle group. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it, as I said at the end of this talk, but consider it because once you get back into that routine of work at the end, it may help you continue what you've started. So that's just, those are some really good reasons for control reasons why I love intermittent fasting and why I just, I'm what I call a hashtag IF lifer, what I'll do for what I will always do. So if this fit felt right for you, and I feel right for you, and when you learn a little bit more about my group felt right for you, would you think that you might want to join, fellow midlife women during this kind of time of crisis and seek out a better way for yourself? Being around other women can help that. Does that sound like, if it was a good fit, something? I'm not asking you to commit, but I'm just saying, does it sound like something that might feel good to you? Um, Tammy, would you right here? My reason for IF was to, yes. Oh, you saw me at a convention. I am so bummed that I'm not going. There's no convention this year. I was so looking. I was all excited. I was going to have like a midlife mojo or a melt the midlife middle like reunion picture, and to see all these people who have, I met last year and have taken this year to change their lives. I'm really bummed about it, but I am happy that you are doing it, and I hope that it's working for you and eliminating the grazing. That's definitely right. When you say eliminating grazing, that's one of the control things that I think intermittent fasting does. We always say we hang the kitchen close sign on our kitchen. For us, it's at 10 p.m. That's when I usually end my fasting. So that's another control piece. Yes, Dawn, it would be great to be around a group of women. And Dawn is one of actually the women in our midlife middle inner circle members, and one of our best supporters in there. Just to get some love from Dawn is just reason enough to be a part of our group. She's not only doing great on her own journey, but she's a big support for everybody. All right. So reason number 2. So number 1 reason for why starting an IF lifestyle during a self-quarantine was you can feel more in control. And let me hold on. Hold on one second here. I did this the last time and I forgot, and I am going to remember this time. Hold on. Let me click here. I don't know why I can't get there. It's so weird. I'm sorry. Just hold on one second. It's because that's in the way. You guys talk among yourselves for a quick second. I'm just going to try and figure this out for a second. Why can't I? There I am. And there it is. But because of this, I can't see. Wait. I don't know. All right, forget it. Number 1, this happened the last time. I have to figure out. I can't see on my screen this place that lets me show my screen sometimes. So the number 1 reason was for being in control, but I can show you the number 2 reason picture I made. I'll figure it out. I love live TV or live camera. It's always fun. All right. So the number 2 reason for starting an intermittent fasting lifestyle now is you're going to eat less food, meaning you're going to use less food, right? So when people do intermittent fasting, they naturally tend to eat less food. I mean, first of all, you're cutting out a meal usually. Most intermittent fasters tend to eat 2 meals a day, a big meal and a snack, or maybe a big meal and 2 snacks. Some do sneak in a 3rd meal there. But in general, as it gets going, people just naturally tend to eat less food when they're doing intermittent fasting. So, you're consuming less calories. That's a good thing. You're going to naturally, hopefully, lose more weight just based on that alone. For most people, it's opening up their window at lunchtime, so they just are missing breakfast. So without the eggs and the bacon and the sausage and the pancakes mix and all that to buy, there's less food to buy, saving you money, right? Less trips to the grocery store, which we definitely need, right? So that in itself is a reason, just going to the grocery store less, right? You will see within a few weeks of adopting an intermittent fasting lifestyle, your body becomes what is called fat adapted, meaning it starts to burn fat for fuel and for energy. And so when that happens, that new energy from the fat keeps you alert, keeps you energized. You're going to feel a difference. You know, a lot of us sitting at home right now are just kind of feeling sluggish. But when you're doing the intermittent fasting and you're doing it right and you're doing it committed and you get into this fat adapted state, you actually are going to feel more energy. Would you agree with that, Dawn, Tammy? You know, would you agree with that? That you just that it's giving you more energy when you are committed and you're doing intermittent fasting regularly, right? You know, and the crazy thing is, and most people when they start intermittent fasting, I mean, I would say 98% of the people when they came to me originally said, "Ooh, 16 hours. I could never do 16 hours." And then literally just about every single person within 1 week is doing 16. Some are even doing 18, 20 within a couple of weeks, just naturally doing that. Because their body, they're not even hungry. They just look up and see what's happened. So do I recommend long fasts? There are some programs out there that do recommend long fasts. For the midlife women, we do have some things to watch. Our hormones are in flux, and you know your diet and things like that can affect your hormones. So if you are starting off new, I suggest starting at actually 12 to 14 hours for a couple of days. Build up maybe 14, 15, then 15, 16 until you hit that 16 solid. And then if you want to go beyond it, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Most days I probably hit about an 18-hour without even thinking about it. That's all good. But if you're talking about like 24-hour fasts and beyond, maybe once in a while, once a week or things like that, if you're stuck or you just need a little jump start. But I personally don't recommend doing it consistently, those long fasts, if you are a woman over 40. But listen to your own body and do what feels right for you. I'm all about making intermittent fasting a permanent part of your lifestyle. So 24 hours without eating, that's not really normal to me. I mean, that's just not a normal thing. And so most people aren't going to keep that up for life. But this 16-8 rhythm, it feels good. It feels natural. And it is something you can keep up for life for sure. So let me see if I'm just reading my notes here, seeing if there's something else I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. And so you're going to notice when you're eating less, and now that you've got all this time on your hand, you're going to start paying attention, to what's going on in your body a little more. The third part of my program that's in my book and in my program that I teach is listening to your body. And so by doing that, you're going to figure out, since we're eating less food, we need to make better choices, right? Like we don't want to waste our satisfaction time, our eating time on filling up on foods that don't really fill us up, the foods that aren't going to take us through the feasting time. So I just lost my train of thought. So listening to your body and those cues. Does when you eat something, does it make you sluggish an hour later, or does it energize you? Does it make you feel sick to your stomach, or does it actually, you feel good after you eat it? All those just different kinds of things. This is the time to pay attention to what your body is telling you when you're eating. And especially during this first, if you're starting out fresh, what's going on during your fasting time as well? What's your body telling you? The first week or so, you may notice some things that it doesn't like. Just keep at it, okay? Again, maybe go slower. Don't jump right to 16, but don't give up, okay? If you really are struggling, message me and I'll help you. So for those of you who, and I think everybody on live right now is watching, but for those of you on the replay who might be watching, if you haven't tried intermittent fasting, maybe you're even hearing about it for the very first time, be honest, like on a scale of 1 to 10, do you think you could adopt a 16-8 eating routine with little effort? For a lot of people, it's kind of how they naturally probably normally eat. That was me. I normally wouldn't have eaten breakfast if people hadn't told me it was the most important meal of the day. So skipping breakfast was a no-brainer for me, and hitting 16 wasn't difficult at all. Some people may think 16 is the reason that's holding you back is that it might not be safe. And believe me, I get that. In the beginning, I thought that. But I can promise you, I have done so much research. I have seen all these results. And unequivocally, I can tell you that if you do it right, it is safe to do. Okay. And it really is probably the most natural way of eating. I mean, to be able to save yourself time, to be able to get out of the kitchen, to be able, I mean, we're women over 40, a lot of us, our kids have gone off to school, you're in empty nesting. We want to travel. We want to go out with friends. We want to socialize. And intermittent fasting fits perfect into that lifestyle, into that type of social lifestyle, which one day we will have again. It feels like it won't ever happen again, but it will. And to be able to be able to eat and go out and do all of those things and still feel in control of our eating in our life is awesome. And you know, I talk a lot about the benefits specifically for the midlife woman in my book. Tammy, I know you have my book. Dawn, I think you have my book as well. You know, let me know if you do have my book and if you found it helpful. And if you don't have it yet, hang on, because there's my offer includes my book at the end as well. Um, but you know, I was actually, you know, going through it again just the other day. For some reason, I was looking up something in it. Somebody had asked me a question, and I knew it was one of the things I had answered in the book. And I was like, dang, this is like, you know, pretty good book here. You know, a little pat on my own back, you know, back there. But it really is just gives you everything you know to get started. And it's just, you know, so, you know, not to toot my own horn, but I am. So, you know, a great place to start. Tammy, let's see. Dawn, you were never, let me look back here a little bit. So yeah, you felt a huge difference, Dawn. Less brain fog. Yes, Tammy, definitely. More energy. Yep. So you too, Dawn, never a breakfast eater. Okay, so interesting. So Tammy, you start a lot earlier during the day and you end at 6:30 p.m. So small meals, but awesome. And right, and it's all keeping up. So 6:30, I mean, you know, like literally, I think last night we ate dinner, like especially with this time change and everybody, I think we had dinner at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So I could never stop at 6:30. I think I was up to, unfortunately, up to about 3 o'clock in the morning. So typically my fasting, my feasting time is 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's typically my time, but it's all out of whack with everybody being home. I'm eating a lot later in the day because I'm sleeping in because I'm going to bed late. So it's all crazy, but it's still the same. It doesn't matter when. It's still it's 8 hours is 8 hours is 8 hours whenever you choose. And quite honestly, the body actually loves the change up. So if you have been doing it for a while and found that you are stuck, now might be the time to play with that window a little bit and change it up a little bit and give your body something new to adapt to. All right, so number 3 reason. So let me hide. See, I'm using all my fancy stuff. I take the time to do this. I made all these pretty pictures. Might as well show them. All right, so the number 3 reason is it's something positive to focus on. All right. Where, you know, right now it's all doom and gloom. You turn on the news. I was saying, my husband, there's just like nothing else on there. I mean, that's all it is, just doom and gloom. And it just overwhelms you. My father tells me he listens to Rachel Maddow every night from, you know, he doesn't have a TV, so he listens to her on his thing and on his phone from 9 p.m. to 1 p.m., 1 a.m. every night, he said. And the man isn't sleeping. He's all worked himself up. I told him I'm taking away his phone. He lives alone. I mean, it's just crazy to feed your mind. You know, do we need to know what's going on? Sure. Do we need to feed our brain with negativity 24/7, with fear 24/7? No, we don't. Okay. So number 3 reason for why you should adopt an intermittent fasting lifestyle this time, right now, why it's great, is it gives you something positive to focus on. You have time right now to learn something new, time to read, time to, as I mentioned just a moment ago, to listen to your body, time to look up new recipes and try the new recipes. My daughter is laughing. Every day something new is coming from Amazon. Yesterday it was, no, excuse me, 2 days ago, I bought, excuse me, a brand new, my blender had broken, so I bought a brand new blender that does hot and cold. So I'm like, honey, we can make soup in our blender now. Okay, and I got 2 recipe books to go with it. Yesterday came a new food processor. I'm Pinterest like crazy. Definitely, if you are on Pinterest, follow me. I'm Midlife Mojo is my business page. Jill Lebofsky is my personal page, but Midlife Mojo is my Pinterest page. And I'm pinning stuff all over the place, right? So now's the time to try some new foods. Find some healthy foods. That you like, some new healthy recipes. Now's the time to really get in the kitchen. And so, because when life goes back to normal, who's got time for any of that? We don't. You're already going to have these recipes down. You know, find some things that are going to be quick, easy to make dinners and things, lunches to take for when you do go back to real life. You know, take the time now to do it. All of that's positive. I love being on Pinterest. It's like my new favorite thing to do. When I say new, I was probably one of the original people on Pinterest, but I go in waves, and like now it's like every day for at least an hour I'm on there. crafts, recipes, exercises, whatever it may be. Um, and also, when you're talking about something, oh, I can't touch my eyes. First of all, you're not supposed to touch your face. And second of all, I got these styes in my eyes. But I am a big believer in the law of attraction. Does anybody, you guys heard of the law of attraction before? Most people have. Maybe you saw The Secret years ago. But the law of attraction is basically your thoughts. For me, I interpret it as your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts create your circumstances. So one more reason to stay positive and focus on positive things. You've probably noticed when you start kind of thinking negative thoughts, or you're surrounding yourself with that, like it just kind of snowballs into other areas of your life. So if we can be feeding our minds with good positive things, more likely we are going to be feeding our bodies as well with good positive things. So the more positive things we focus on, the more things that we attract into our lives. I mean, I know people who believe that you can think your way into weight loss. And I believe that to some degree. I'm thinking, like anything, action is needed, but it starts with a thought. So if you are thinking positive thoughts, you're thinking about yourself, this summer, wearing that, bathing suit that you've been wanting to wear, or that strapless dress you've been wanting to put on. If you kind of get into that, real deep fantasy feeling of it, and that then, yes, I do believe, can think yourself into being thin, because you're going to then take actions that will create that for you. So how does that sound? You like that? Who's feeding themselves with positive things right now? You don't have to fess up if you're like my dad and feeding your mind with Rachel Maddow 24/7. But who's consciously making an effort right now to find positive things to feed their mind with, whether it's podcasts, whether it's listening to music, whether it's playing with your dog, going for walks outside? Who's consciously making the effort to do that? I'd love to hear some of the things that you guys are doing. Give us all some ideas that maybe we haven't thought of, things that we can do to put a spin, a positive spin on this self-quarantine time. Yeah. All right. So let me see here. All right. So let me just look here real quick. True, eating later with a time change. Yeah, I'm sure you are, Tammy. All right, so those were my 3 reasons to adopting an intermittent lifestyle during the self-quarantine, right? It was having control at a time where we don't have control. It's using less food at a time where we should be staying home and not shopping. And it's thinking positively at a time when there's so much negativity around us. Those are 3 great reasons. And I'm going to give you a 4th good reason right now, a bonus reason. And that is, I'm going to give you a 4th reason is access to my Melt the Midlife Middle group and my Melt the Midlife Middle book for a special rate. Yes, I know. I talked to my husband about this, and I said, I feel weird, like, advertising and promoting myself during this kind of weird time. And then he, I love him so much. He just reframed it for me. And he said, what are you talking about? People need you now. Like they're sitting in their homes surrounded by piles of food and nowhere to go, and feeling lonely and depressed and sad and anxious and eating and eating and eating. And when he said that to me, I was like, he's right. People need me. So I have a special offer right now. I'm going to offer it from now through the end of March. And that is, if you want to join my Melt the Midlife Middle group and get the PDF version of my Melt the Midlife Middle book, the ebook version of my Melt the Midlife Middle book, I'm going to offer it for $65. Okay. So basically, typically my Melt the Midlife Middle group is a $14.97 a month monthly fee. And my ebook is typically $7.99 a month for the book. So it's typically about a $98 value. Now, let me tell you, in my Melt the Midlife Middle group, Dawn, I think you would agree, you get way more than $14.97 a month of benefit and of value for sure in that group. But you're for $65, you're going to get 6 months in my group. You're going to be right away. As soon as you sign up, I'll put you in the group. I'll send over a 2-hour webinar that I just did on getting started with intermittent fasting. It pretty much goes through the book, tells you step by step what to do, the science behind it, all of that. I'll also send you an intermittent fasting and essential oils webinar that I pre-recorded. I am in the process of redoing it, but it's still a really good video. In that group, I am in there. I do a once a week education sort of like that, specifically for that group. Once a month, I bring in a guest professional to talk about something that complements our group and your intermittent fasting journey in general. Last month, we had a hypnotist. We've had people do the aroma freedom technique. We've had people talk about letting go of obstacles. Next month, I'm actually having our guest speaker speak in this group as a sneak peek, and she's a plant-based chef. So there's a lot going on in that group, 2 to 3 posts a day, some challenges here and there. There's a lot going on in that group. So I'm going to give you 6 months in that group. By then, you will have this intermittent fasting thing down, and you're going to be able to do it in a supportive environment. You know, nothing more than feeling disconnected at this time. So to be connected to people who are positive, who are on the same journey with you, who want to be there for one another. What a great positive spin to put on this time right now. So 6 months plus the book for $65. Let me put up the link right here. Hold on. Let me see. There's the link for it right there. Okay, I'll put it in the comments later after the video as well. But there's the link right there if you want to join. And whether you do decide to join or not, I really do hope that you, during these next few weeks, you know, find something positive to do for yourself, that you don't just sit out and munch out in front of the TV, that you don't let this time be an excuse to derail how far you've come. And that if you need me, please reach out to me. I am always happy just to jump on for a quick, you know, pep talk if you need it. But really consider joining my program, getting my book, and just getting started on something positive. So that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me live or watching me on the replay. Reminder, I am here every Monday, trying to be at least every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give me some topics that maybe you'd like me to talk about, and tell your friends about my Midlife Mojo group. Invite them to join our group so that they too can watch these groups and look and feel their best as well. I'm going to send you off with a little exit video, but just everybody stay well, stay safe, stay inside, and I will see you soon.